Welcome, Josie, to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you
Long
for
awaited.
yeah. Thank you for really turning up.
Thank you for having me.
So, how have you been handling, man?
Living with sickle cell disease basically is living on that edge every single day, every minute, every second. It's not. Right now, I'm fine. Honestly, like right now, I am fine. I'm feeling great. I have.
It's your birthday as well, so
Right, it's my birthday, but I can assure you that my anxiety is like up the roof right now because you just never know. Anything can trigger anything at any time.
and you get into a crisis.
At any time. You have no idea when it's coming. Okay, sometimes yes you do, but like the thing about sickle cell disease is that you are, like I said, living on the edge, so you just never know when it's going to happen. You can feel great now, and in the next hour,
Everything changes.
everything changes just like that, and you have nothing to do. But you know what? I am in so much pain, and I need help. That's it. And when the pain comes, it really comes. It's not like, oh hey, I'm here, take a painkiller, and you're good. No, if the pain comes in that way, especially the one that is unpredictable,
Yeah.
the one that is unpredictable is the worst, and that's the one that scares me the most because you, like I said, you never see it coming. You are fine. I'm here laughing with you. I'm not feeling any sort of discomfort in any way, but then in the next hour it can just turn around, and when it turns around you just don't know what is making it, what has caused this, and then how long it's going to be like this, because the unpredictable pain is the worst. The others you can sort of manage. That's the difference. Yeah, so that's what I would say. It's really scary.
It's tough. Living with pain is because life is about pain and suffering, and that is how you come out victorious and stuff.
Life should not be about
But
pain
it
and
is.
suffering.
It is. It is only the strong that really continue. That is in general for whatever thing it is, because from right when we wake up, these things manifest every day. Like something has to go wrong, and right now for someone like you, who has this at the back of your head that I could actually get into some abrupt pain. I feel like you're in best position to win, and this is why you're winning with life. I don't
Am
know.
I winning in life?
I think so, because
I really hope I am, because I really need to win in life, right? I really need to win in life, yeah.
but I definitely think you are, because then what really can break you if this has not broke you?
See, that's one of the things. Like, I keep on telling people, I admire those who can cry easily. You get that? Like, the people who, like, something happens to them and then they cry. Yeah? I feel like that's amazing. Like, if you're able to cry, if you can break down and feel whatever it is you're feeling, that's amazing. However, for me, because of the amount of pain I have been through whenever I'm in a crisis, I feel like anything else that happens to me, like, you know what? I have seen worse. That's the kind of, and then I realize at a point, like, this is not good. It's not even good for me emotionally or mentally, because I downplay so many things based on the amount of stress or pain I have had or my body has experienced, to the point that anything else just honestly doesn't matter. And I feel like that's not a great thing, because something can happen, like someone can do something to me and I'm like, oh, okay, that hurts, but like, okay, I will
So
be
you're
fine.
not really emotionally available in
I don't want to say I'm not emotionally available, because I feel like I am. I just feel like maybe I'm not for myself. That's what I would call it. Like, I'm probably one of those people who will just see, you got this, nothing else matters. That kind of thing. I don't allow myself to feel the way I should the way I feel I could be able to, because I feel like everything else is overplayed by the whole, just the way my life is basically. Yeah.
Have you dealt with pains like heartbreaks, or all these are things that just now cliche to you, and you just go through life knowing that, you know what, I have greater pain to deal with. I don't even know if it's like the greater pain you have to deal with as a person.
I don't even know how I would call it, to be honest. Well, but yeah, I have dealt with heartbreaks, not in.
Because I brought up the heartbreak thing because it is,
I have.
to me, it is the biggest thing I've dealt with personally. Like, I feel like I never want to go there in life again. I never want to fall in love to break, and then I am into that situation. So that is my worst pain.
Now you see, everything about my life somehow turns back into that whole being in a crisis situation. Because living with sickle cell, every situation in my life is affected. Yeah. With sickle cell disease, the main triggers are cold, the weather. Dry or hot weather is not good. That's
dry or hot, yeah?
Yes, so dry or hot is not good. No, cold is also not good.
Is this cold?
Cold is also this, like I said.
Do we have to shift this podcast?
Cold is not good. Rainy is not good. An infection can trigger a crisis.
So you're very delicate, yeah? You're like,
yes, I am very delicate. And then emotions can also trigger a crisis. And now for me, my biggest trigger is emotions. I think my worst crisis most of them is usually either anger, or okay, most of them is anger. If I'm to think about it, most of them has been like, if I get really, really angry, I will get sick. Then of course, yes, like I'd say, the heartbreak. I can't say I have been heartbroken by a guy to the point that I have been sick, but I have been heartbroken by other people, and somehow, yes, it did affect me. It still comes back and affects me in its own way. So I may not get very ill, but I will get ill. And so basically anything around me can easily lead to a crisis. So it's just a matter of being, what they call it, being calm, pacing yourself, managing your body. It's all around that, basically. Even excitement.
Yeah, can trigger.
Even excitement, yes.
So if we're at your birthday and I throw you in the pool.
That's why I said my anxiety is up the roof, because I get very excited for my birthday, but I get very scared as well. Because I'm like, okay, my excitement can easily lead me down the drain. But then again, if I'm very stressed about it, again, I can get.
Then how are you in position to be a business leader? Because pro cons of running businesses
is stress.
Yeah, there's a lot of stress involved. Things just stumble. You like just recording this podcast, we could live here. These guys have taken some time making sure our focus is in, and things would go wrong. Yeah, something could go wrong. We'll be seated here and something just triggers off. And this pisses me off a lot. Like when let's say I record a podcast and something goes wrong, or we lose the sound, or we do something, I'll feel very, very, very intrigued. Like I'll feel the worst person. But then, of course, I know that there's always opportunity to start to redo this. And how are you handling business while dealing with the fact that you have,
like you said, you pace yourself. You pace yourself, and one of the things that I've also learned while doing it is everything will be okay. That's the truth. That's what I've learned. Like, yes, it gets stressful. It reaches a point where you're like, what am I doing? Am I doing things right? How can I do things better? But like, you just, like, it fixes itself. I have to trust that I can handle it, and I also have to trust that the people I'm working with are going to pull through. So I just try, if I say I try not to get stressed, I'll be lying, because I'm one of the people who really easily gets stressed by anything. But I just try to pace myself. If I see that, I allow myself to stop. That's the thing. I allow myself to stop. Like, okay, this is getting out of hand, stop, and then I realign and rethink things to help not just the business but even me as a person. So I think that's how I try to manage each day and take each day as it comes, honestly. Because today is going to be great, tomorrow might not be as great or could be worse, but like take each hit as it comes the way it is, and then swim through it, and see how it goes. Yeah.
Interesting. When do you realize you have sickle cell disease?
I don't know when I realized, but I know I was diagnosed at 3 years old. So I can say I grew up knowing that I had
So
it.
does that make it easier than someone who finds out that, okay, now I've been dealing with this? Because now it's been a part of your life.
For me, it's easier because
I'll just give you an example. A lot of my peers, who, let's say, when you ask a random person my age what they wouldn't do without, a lot of them would say, I don't know what I would do without my mother. Yeah. But then I grew up knowing that my mom passed on. So I'm stronger. Like, I've been built to think that, okay, that's okay. Yeah. Like, you can just coexist without your mother.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah, definitely. That's how I am as well. I also do not know what I would be like if I didn't know I had sickle cell disease, or if I did not have it, because I feel like it's something that is a huge part of me.
Yeah.
And it is pretty much my whole being. What I can say is that I embraced it and I moved with it as it is. So I feel like my character, the way I handle things, my perspective on life, I feel like all of it has been very much controlled by the fact that I have sickle cell disease.
How so?
And how, let me give you I don't like abrupt things. Like, that's me. Like, you can't tell me, oh, Joseph, let's go do this. Once in a while, I will. But I'm such a planner. Like, I'm a very big planner. And I feel like me being a planner has been contributed by that. Because when you're living with something that you have no idea on how it's going to affect you or when it's going to affect you, you have to learn how to be like, okay, today this is something I can do. Tomorrow I am, or in the next hour I was able to, but now I can't. So you end up being like, okay, this week my energy is a bit high, so I can push myself a little bit further.
Yeah.
But then in the middle of the week, something can change. So I end up like, okay, this is something that I wanted to do, but now I can't. I can push it for next week. So by the time I'm able to do whatever it is I had said I was going to do, you can't just throw me.
But then this is also genius, because then puts you in the best position to keep ahead, yeah? Because since you're a good planner, you probably have a business plan for where you'll be in the next 5 years. This is...
It's a hope, I guess. Yeah, something like that.
All right.
Something like that. Like, because I honestly feel like much as I would like to be spontaneous and very unpredictable and very all these things, I can't. I really can't. And I cannot promise that this is something I'm going to eventually learn to be. So people around me just end up... You have to understand that. One of those are the things that I have to come with. So yes, I feel like I do not know how to not live without it. Yeah.
If is there like health-wise, is there like a cure? Like, is there a stage where you reach and you don't have to deal with this ever again?
No, not at all. And I don't know why people say that. I just feel like it's you learn how to manage your body. That's what it is. You learn how to manage your body. So when you learn how to manage your body, you understand your triggers and you understand how to avoid your triggers. Now, say for me, I know what triggers me. I know that the cold is going to trigger me. So you will never catch me in a pool ever, because I know once I get into the pool, you don't know what is going to happen in the next 2 hours. Yes, I try not to get stressed, however much that is very difficult. I take my meds on time. to avoid any sort of infections. I eat healthy. I hydrate. If you notice, the first thing I asked for was something to drink. So you learn how to manage your body. So when you learn how to do that, you reduce the number of crises you get. This year, I have been sick once,
That is.
and that's amazing.
Mm.
So compared to someone who was sick every 3 months, at a point I would be sick every month.
Wow.
So to be able to go half the year and I've just had one crisis, that's great. I've had a year when I've not had even one crisis. So it's just.
And for you to get in a situation where you're now dealing with, let's say, one crisis for the last 6 months, is it entirely based on luck?
It's taking care of yourself,
All
to
right.
be honest.
So that means if you
taking care of
continue
yourself.
taking better care of yourself,
Yes.
you reduce.
Yeah, you reduce. I can't say they entirely go away because the disease is in your body, it's in your blood. It's just that you're going to either reduce the number of crises that you get, or they won't be as intense because, yeah, that happens. But then again, I've also realized that as I get older, they're also getting the pain crisis gets more intense than they used to be. Like the pain is much more than it used to be. So it may be for a short time, but it's like really, really bad to a point where I'm in such a horrible place. Like I'm having pain from my head to my toe, and yet before I used to just get pain probably one part of my joint or a bone, but now it can go to the whole body and every bone in your body is crashing. So that's something I'm still trying to figure out, and I don't know how to handle it yet.
That's because my next question was going to be, I don't even think this question, my next inquiry was, how do you deal with these crises when they happen?
The major medical attention that one needs when they get a crisis is getting fluids. That's drip. So you have to be on so many fluids, and then then blood transfusion. I, however, have never got a blood transfusion. That's for personal reasons. However, I manage using folic acid to manage my anemia and everything. And then you get to know the reason as to why this happened. Like, why are you in a crisis? Was it the weather? Was it an infection? So you treat that as it comes. So then that happens as it's more of, it's like every single time you're in a crisis, the doctor is learning something about you. That's how I can put it, because you have to go back to the drawing board. Okay, what happened? What went wrong? What is being attacked? Where is the pain? And then you handle it from there. Fortunately for me, again, very fortunate, is I have parents with a medical background, so they handle that majorly for me.
No, speaking of treatment, and I know I was reading on our website where about 20,000 babies live born with sickle cells. But we right now as a country, we're dealing with the COVID-19 thing. Poorly mishandled. In my opinion, I don't know how you feel about it. How would you rate the healthcare
in Uganda?
Yeah, to dealing with sickle cell now. And
it's shit.
Interesting.
That's the best way I can put it. It's shit. We do not have the right pain meds. We do not have medical staff who understand the disease. We are constantly teaching these doctors, and I feel like this is the one. That's usually the time when I get so mad, because you went to medical school, but I have to teach you how to treat me. I'm telling you.
How is that possible?
It is. That is what we face. That is what we face, because I'm going to tell the doctor, the pain medication you're giving me is not going to work because my pain threshold is up.
Yeah.
Because I've been on pain meds from the time I was a kid. So of course certain things are not going to work. But they're going to tell you, but it's a very strong painkiller. Take it. And they stick to it because for them that's what they know, and they don't want to think outside the box, and they don't want to expound on their knowledge or even try to sit down and ask the patient, okay, help me understand what exactly is going on. Because 90% of the time, if you honestly ask a dog, if you only ask a patient or a sickle cell warrior, help me understand. I will tell you. I do not enjoy being in pain, so I'm not even going to lie about anything. I'm not even going to lie that I'm in more pain that I am actually saying. Because all I need is the pain to go. They're going to come and ask you from a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is your pain? And someone is going to tell you 15, and then they laugh. They're like, haha, really? Okay. And then they give you something like diclofenac, and you're like, really? I just told you my pain is at 15. And then you have to deal with that. And then they're going to come and tell you, we'll give you another dose after 1 hour. So that's me being in pain for 1 hour until you realize, okay, this medicine is not working. Let's try this. But I told you that from the beginning. Try a different pain med, but you didn't listen to me.
How is this like this for? Because I'm thinking experiences have come, and there should be doctors who have been dealing with sickle cells that should be willing to.
There are definitely those who are, but I can't say that everyone has access to them. That's the truth. Because let's say, for example, a small medical center in a very small town. The nurse or the doctor is going to stick to what they know, and they're not going to try. They'll be like, oh yes, okay, this person is a sickler. That's it. They normally have pain, but eventually the pain goes. The biggest thing that they keep on pushing is endure. The pain will go. That is, I think that is one of the most annoying things they ever tell us. But yeah, they always tell you endure. The pain will eventually go. So you have to literally endure because there is nothing you can do. And then, yeah. So access is not. It's not. To be honest, it's really shit. In Uganda, it's really shit. That's the truth.
Do you ever get, besides the shitty doctors like you mentioned, do you ever get like friends who fail to believe you when you're in pain? Or people around you and they're like, no, they don't seem to understand this. And how do you deal with that? Or you've been very lucky?
I can't say I've not had friends who understand. But I've come across people who will downplay it. Or who will think I'm pretending. Or I'm just not fun. That's one of the things. Because usually when I'm in pain, or when I'm trying, or I feel a crisis coming, I will suddenly go quiet. I'm just trying to manage my body. So if we're in a social setting and I tell you I'm just not feeling well right now, someone will be like, either I'm seeking attention or I'm just not fun. Like,
no, like
you're
school,
boring.
Primary, high school, and university. How is that like studying with sickle cells? Primary, I remember we used to have all these excuses as guys who didn't want to like pick rubbish when you get in and it's morning time and you have to like.
Oh yes, I had those.
Like, I had. No, man, I'm sick. Me, I don't sweep at our home. I had those. Like that. These are excuses.
Yeah, teachers were not the best at when it comes to me and sports. Because I'm not supposed to do any physical activity. Okay, it's not advised to do physical activities. There are those who can. I personally can't. Physical activities also are strenuous for me. But when it came to sports, yes, some teachers would push me. And then, of course, I've had the punishments. But then eventually they get to understand this is not something I can do. I've not been bullied about it. Maybe I was bullied for the number of times I was in and out of school, but I can't really say it was something that affected me, to be honest, because most of the time I just try not to get into that or try to listen to that. So I feel like I have been someone who I just surround myself with those who get me, and then if you don't, it's honestly fine. That's why the first thing you're going to know about me, to be honest, all the time, and people have always asked me, why do you do that, is I'm going to tell you I have sickle cell disease. And I feel like that's something you need to know, so that if something happens, you know how to handle it. Or if I give you a reason as to why I am not involved in certain things, you understand. And then also it gives you opportunity to choose. Like, you get to decide if you want to be in my life and handle this or not. And if you don't, I will not take it personally because I feel like we should surround yourself with people who want to be with you at the end of the day. I'm not going to force a relationship, and if you feel like my situation is a bit of an inconvenience to you, that's fine. Please go be happy and comfortable where you are, and I will also be happy and comfortable where I am. Yeah.
Now these 20,000 babies, what's in for them? Like, if this is how the health system is, are you in position? Because I look at you as, okay, you're fighting, and I don't know how old you are right now, but you're 40s years, you're getting
28 today.
Good.
28
happy
today.
birthday. So see, you're getting to the third floor, so you're probably for 28 years of this, in this position to know that things you should highlight.
Yeah. I think right now I can't even say I don't know what's in it for them. However, I am in the process of trying to make a change. That's what I can say.
How
I am in the process.
Because I want us to really go through this. There should be people on this podcast that
I recently started S for Sickle Cell, and that is going to be an organization that is mainly focusing on improving the lives of those living with sickle cell disease. And right now we are using our digital platforms to put as much information as out there. If you check out sforsicklecell.org, you will find that there is information on understanding, on managing, and you're going to find stories of people living with sickle cell disease. So that those around them, people in the communities, are able to see that this is something very serious and it needs attention. My big goal, is to have a hospital that is focusing on sickle cell disease. I do not want anything else. I just want people to have a safe space where they can come and they are understood with the right medical personnel, of people who are willing to learn, people who are willing to do research, people who are willing to expound their boundaries on sickle cell disease. And that is what I'm looking at. And I really know that I'm going to get there. It may not be now, but I know I'm going to get there, because this is something that I feel like I said, I feel privileged for the life I have lived. Because if you listen, with meeting these different sickle cell warriors, I realized, like, okay, yes, our pain is the same, but our experience is very different. It's so different. I'm privileged with supportive parents, supportive siblings, supportive friends, even, I don't know.
Very supportive. Tell you what.
But then
your friends.
But then there are people who I recently interviewed someone who told me once their dad found out they had sickle cell disease, he walked out of her life, and that was the reason as to why the actual parent is moving out of someone's life. And then I'm like, okay, this is just crazy.
Yeah, but we have a lot of ignorant parents. my understanding of world is you can do anything in this life, but don't be ignorant around your children, because this cuts across children with drug problems, children with all this other stuff. Because parents leave children because they're disabled. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so for me, I'm like, okay, from my point, I should be like, okay, I'm a very lucky person, but that is so painful because I understand the pain they have been in. So what I'm trying to do is create a safe space where sickle cell warriors are very much hard. Is emphasis on hard, because that is where the problem is coming from. We are never hard. So where they are hard and understood, and then well taken care of. Because honestly, if you go to any of the hospitals, I can't say anyone has had the best experience ever.
How about you started something like a podcast media where there are all these stories where people could really pick up on, and I can help you start this. People could just come and listen to stories of people dealing, because creating awareness is one of the biggest things you people need, so that we are aware of. I didn't find out you have sickle cells until I was talking to Debbie And I was
Really?
yes, I was
It's
telling her,
everywhere. It's on my
what?
profile.
I was telling David that this chick, she's too hot. I saw her at this wedding, and she's like, okay, yeah, but I don't know if it's okay to say. She's like, okay, but you guys won't have children. Because like, what did you mean? So this is how the story breaks to me. I'm like, okay. And I go and read.
That's wild. Oh wow. Okay. That's okay. That's very weird because it's everywhere. If you check out my Twitter, it's the first thing you see.
Somehow I don't know how. No, I've always
It's the
seen
first
you
thing you
into the
see.
digital bit of things.
Really?
Yeah.
I also do a lot of tweeting about it. So, and I think you're just choosing not to see it. But like, in terms of stories, yes, we are. It's not exactly a podcast, but we normally feature.
A reason I'm telling you
stories,
podcast is
yeah.
it's easier to control
Mm-hmm.
the podcast than this other normal media, news and what, because it's business for them. Yeah.
We do have a YouTube channel with the different stories.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen it?
I've watched that.
Yeah, we do have a YouTube channel. So the challenge that we are facing, I think, is that I don't know if it's everywhere, but in every 5 sickle cell warriors, one wants to come out and tell their story. And it's not because it's the stigma. And the stigma is coming from their people. It's coming from their parents. Like I said, every time I hear something new, I'm very shocked. Someone tells me, oh no, I would really want to tell my story, but my parents did not tell most of the family members, so I don't want my name out there. Or my husband doesn't want people to know about this. Or I've not told my friends about it, so I don't want people to know about it. And I understand that, but I also feel like it's the fear of someone knowing what you're living with is something we need to eradicate, because we are people who need all the help and all the support that you can get. So if you're hiding, so what happens when you're in pain? What happens when you're in a crisis and you're among people? What are you going to say about it? People will get scared and run away from you, because when you're screaming in so much pain and no one doesn't know what's going on. So I understand the need to protect oneself, but we need to be very vocal about it. Yeah. And it will also help with the health system. It will help if the public health sector gets to see that, you know what, okay, this is something we're neglecting and it needs all the attention it can get. Yeah.
How are you placed in position to really, really make sure this doesn't define you? Because I see you're achieving, you're starting this organization. Okay, they might be around sickle cells and stuff, but yeah, you've at least 28 years. It's commendable. You still smile pretty every other day. How is it so?
Thank you.
Yeah.
How am I what?
How have you made sure it's not defining you, the disease? Or have you let it define you?
What? When you say define, what exactly do you mean?
All right. How can I put it? Like you're just not laid back to. You're not laid back to. You know what? I won't really do this. I won't start my business. I'm sick. You're so privileged. You have supportive friends and parents, so it will be very easy for you to like ignore everything else.
I'm also very ambitious. So I guess that's where it starts from. I'm very ambitious and I'm very curious. So, and then also I want to enjoy myself as much as possible. So, yeah, much as I may be limited to the number of things I want to do, I'm also very curious to see what can I do. That's where the balance comes from. So I will say no to something, but I'll say yes to something, because I want to say, okay, what does this feel like? How does it, what would it be like if I did that? How far can I go with this? So I think that's what helps me. I'm very ambitious and I'm a very curious person. And I enjoy life. That's it. Yeah. Okay,
now let's go away from the whole sickle cell thing and now go into Josie, you as this human being.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of those things that you know what? You don't do physical exercises because you're sick and stuff, but like substitutes, like let me say hope. Are you like religious? Do you pray to your God 5 times a day? What drives your life?
Can I say life drives my life? That's it. Because I'm generally a happy person, honestly. I'm generally a very happy person, so I just like to experience anything and as much as possible. Personally,
Yeah.
that's me. So I can't. What drives me? Honestly, don't know what drives me. I think it's the eagerness for the next day.
Like,
That's what I would. That's how I would put it. It's the eagerness for the next day. What does tomorrow bring? What is next month going to bring? Like, okay, now we are in this slump, but what happens after? Or what can I do in this time? So it's normally the eagerness for the next day. That's what I would call it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I usually don't even pause in conversation.
You seem dumbfounded. Why?
I know it's just interesting that I am having this conversation and it's happening. Because then the pain when I was Googling sickle cells, I told you about this. This is the only thing I've Googled and it has brought up pain as the only symptom. So when I was Googling this, I was like, what? The people living with this, and yeah, I was very ignorant. Not like I didn't know it exists, but I just never gave it attention. There are no people around me that have sickle cells or what, or I've had to deal with, help a friend. But yeah, I know people deal with a lot of stuff. People deal with drug issues and stuff, so I know how important support systems are, how bad stigma around these things is, and stuff like this. But for this thing,
I think what I would tell you is that if you know a sickle cell warrior, they are, like I mentioned, much as you said we are delicate, we are also people, and we also want to be treated like any other person. So me telling you I have sickle cell disease doesn't mean that I want you to put me in an eggshell. I really don't like it when people do that. Like suddenly all you see is my
just that.
I'm like, no, there's a lot more to me. So do not put someone in an eggshell and be like, no, then start making decisions for them. Then start, no, we are very much as normal as you are, even could be on a higher scale, by the way. But then,
Yeah, but the looks of the previous minutes we've had for this conversation really show that you're up there on higher scale of life. You've not you're somewhere. You're not like the average 28 human being.
yeah,
Yeah.
trying not to be the average 20-year-old. But yes, what I say is that just try to be as normal as possible around them. And the one thing that I can't really say we sickle cell warriors, but I personally is I don't like it when the decision is made for me based on that. Say
Have you had life decisions made for you? I have had one. My father baptized my child without my consent
have I had life
because they
decisions
thought
made
I was
for
young
me?
enough to take such a decision.
No, I've not had life decisions made for me yet. Yet I can't say they will never happen, but I've had incidences where people will make a decision for me based on, no, she can't do that. Like, excuse me, you didn't you didn't ask me.
Yeah.
Like, first ask me and then I tell you, okay, no, I can't do that. Actually, I may have said no at a point and there was a reason. But today is different. So that's where you need to approach in a way of we are normal people despite the fact that we have a little bit of limitations here and there.
Okay, let's go to social media. Your presence, how this is now this is now you, the person who does PR and digital marketing. How is social media helping you as a tool to get out there? One thing I know about PR though is, to me, it's something that shouldn't exist. There shouldn't be PR. Yeah, because PR is like the root cause of evil. Yes, it's manipulation. it's cover up. Because at the end of the day, if let's say I'm a rapist and I hire a PR firm,
that's a very interesting.
They'll cover up for me.
Yeah.
Because I have the money to cover up, and all these evil people like you write all these statements. What happened to this guy, Bill Cosby? Yeah. Story looks,
A lot of speed.
yeah, the
and all
war,
that.
apparently the law is now correct and things like that, and now there are all these victims. So people like you,
I think it's
are
it's
responsible.
an evil in its way, to be honest. That's the truth. Much as it's very helpful for business, I also feel like social media has its, like everything else, it has a negative and a positive side. In terms of business, it's a really great tool. You can push. I have managed to meet several. I met you. I have managed to meet several people through my.
I did meet you on social media, though.
You did.
I met you in person.
Okay. It has started. Let me say it has started conversations. Conversations that have led to bigger things. Definitely, it has also introduced me to so many a lot of knowledge, so many people who have showed me a different perspectives in terms of also business and other things. It has also brought clients my way, so I can't, in the business perspective, it's a great thing. Personally, I am still gauging how I feel about social media, because
How long have you been using social media?
a while. A while. When you talk about social media, you're talking about everything,
Yeah.
from Facebook and all that. I don't even have my Facebook account from high school. I just deleted it. Like, you can never find anything from me from Facebook.
Why?
I don't know. To be honest, I just woke up and I'm like, nah, I don't need this. I don't need this to be here. So I just like removed that. I have a Facebook page, but it's not
Business.
It's, yeah, focus mainly on business. And then Twitter is where I'm a bit active, but I decided to be active on Twitter for my sickle cell awareness work. That's where it stems from. I always had the account, but there was really nothing major that I was doing. But I decided, you know what, I can use this platform. I realized I was getting following, and every time I would talk a little bit about my health, it piqued people's interest. So I'm like, okay, I can actually use this platform to do something. I can use this platform to make a change. And to be honest, it has really helped make a change. People have come to me and said thank you, have said thank you for speaking about it. Thank you for. I've even had doctors like, these are things we have never actually looked at,
Yeah.
and here you are talking about it and opening our eyes. So I feel like in that sense it has helped. In the personal sense, I don't know. I really don't see so much about it there.
Lifetime goals like marriage, finding a partner. Are you about that? Or you want to be focused on this hospital so bad that
Oh no, definitely. I definitely want to get married at a point. Um, but me getting married doesn't have to stop my goals, does it?
no?
Exactly. So I feel like I can have it all, like
Yeah.
they say it. Yeah, I definitely want to get married at a point. I don't know when though.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Interesting. Let's go a little bit back into the health bit. Yeah.
Mhm.
Of how this pandemic, yeah, because what has really happened is we have cases where they have prioritized COVID-19, of course, and they have ignored all these other things. I feel like a lot more people are now dying from
Other causes.
yeah, and they're just ignored. Then when I was reading, 20 babies have to be born with sickle cells, 20,000, sorry. So in my mind, I'm thinking, if this statistic is out there like it is, yeah, there should be like, that is almost the same number of cases we've been getting for the last 1 year, yeah, for people doing COVID, and then we have all this facilitation come through, all these fundings coming through, and looks like we can actually live with that disease, yeah. It's not like I'm going to go into, okay, I don't know, I've not had COVID before, so I don't want to speak very ignorantly in it, but then no one has put up structures for.
No one is even putting up structures.
So the awareness you guys are you've created for all this time, or probably you, from the time you understood that you're dealing with this and you can do something, still you've not accessed any big powers, any people in positions to really
No,
highlight these
not
things?
yet. And I can even speak about this on a global scale. Despite the pandemic and the fact that we are living with a genetic disorder, somehow on a global scale, sickle cell disease is still being pushed to the sideline. Yes, there are a few researchers and a few developments that are coming about, but it's still not given that, like what we call the home care, the pain management. It's still not being given that time and attention that it needs. It's still like, to be honest, we are in 2021. I still do not understand why this is something that we are still fighting, yet it has been there for years. And
how would you propose it's handled in your own perspective?
In my perspective, I feel like
what should be done?
I'll give an example of HIV/AIDS.
I think that's the only thing our president is commenting about.
Exactly. I'll give an example of HIV/AIDS. HIV/AIDS has, like, there are campaigns. There are there's a lot of research. There's a lot of campaigns. There's a lot of attention that has been given to it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I feel like that is the same attention that should be given to someone.
Do you think people ignore to give it this attention it deserves because it's genetic? Like, people are born with it, so the world, people have this in their mind. Okay, no, that is something God brought, and you'll have to deal with it. It's not like HIV.
I also think so too. Yeah. I also think so too, because it's genetic. You feel like, okay, there's nothing we can do about it. It's more like having a kid and then how can I put it?
The layman, you can't give, but you can find them a leg if you make good money.
I don't know the best way I can explain it, but what I'm saying is that the reason as to why it's not being given the attention that it deserves is something that none of us sickle cell warriors will understand. But I also feel like it's something because 1 in 5 people has it.
Yeah.
So you who has your pain, that's your problem. I feel like that's how it's being handled. Like, okay, your issue is pain. They will probably give you a painkiller today. You will be fine. It's fine. There's someone here who needs, like everything, life still goes on regardless. So I feel like that's how they look at it. And yet, the thing about it is that sickle cell is not just pain. You're living with sickle-shaped cells that attack in your body. So they attack your organs. They attack your liver, your heart, your kidney. Inside, well, you don't know. So they're not giving it the attention that it needs. Yet it's still affecting us in ways that we don't even see. Like, it's an internal struggle that we are having. And yet it's something that we cannot control.
How do you manage to smile with this?
I have no idea. I like how people ask me that question, and I don't know. Today morning, my brother actually asked me the same thing. So, yeah.
Then mentally, how do you handle? Because tell you what, I don't know. A lot of things just right with this conversation, I now feel like it has given me so much power that right after it, I don't feel I'll have the moral authority to be sad about some of the things that I've been sad about.
No.
It's not like
that's not how it should be. You are very much validated as you should. But of course, it affects me mentally.
Then how do you handle are there practices you make? Do you do meditation? Do you have things like this? How do you handle that? How do you keep zen? That's a question.
I recently started going for therapy because I realized every time I get sick, I get a bit depressed.
Yeah.
Okay, not a bit. I get really, really depressed because of that. Because when you get sick, it really changes. It stops everything. So I'd get depressed about that. Of course, I have self-pity sometimes. And then sometimes I really admire things that people are able to do that I cannot. And it affects me. But then I also learn to be appreciative of what I have and appreciative of what I can do and appreciative of how far I've come. So I try to balance it out like that. And then I do talk when I'm feeling down. I do have people that I talk to, and like I said, I do try therapy. It helps,
Yeah.
though. Sometimes it's in and out. But yeah, that's how I balance
Just
it.
therapy for your mental health. That's it.
And then I do the things
you a
I
believer?
like when I can.
You're a believer? Good.
Am I a believer of God? That's something I'm still fighting. I'm still.
We're in the same boat.
I've had reasons as to why I've come to question it, but then I've also had reasons as to why I do not. So I can't really talk much about that whole area. But then, like I said, you just learn how to be appreciative of what's there and what's not.
Okay. No, like just I want us to conclude this with something you already mentioned on, but probably hit further on it. Like, what would be that mark you want to leave? If you probably died tomorrow, not tomorrow. Like, if you probably
I
died,
hope not. My God.
this is something you've done and achieved for eternity. This is like your legacy you've left behind.
I want to bring change. I know people say that, but I want to bring change. I want to be the person who is remembered as the woman who made a difference in the lives of sickle cell warriors. And then I also want in every person that I meet,
Yeah.
whether a sickle cell warrior or not, or generally life as it is, I want to leave a positive impact. Like, I live each day knowing that I should leave each person better than I found them. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's what I strive to do. I will try to provide what is needed in my capacity. That's the kind of person I am. So, because I want to leave you either a little bit happier, it may not be that much, but I want to make some sort of impact, a positive impact in your life. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Josie, for this.
Thank you for having me. It was
So
amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I know this is going to be a powerful conversation.